Oh, well, it happened again. I went out to town and I had things to do, and I'm going down the road and it's November. It's freaking cold outside, and there's a yard sale, and I'm like, I could smell it. I'm like, they just got comics. So I pull in there, and me and the guy are looking at each other, and we're talking, and he's got all these books decked out, hardback books and stuff, and I asked him if he's got comics, and he's like, yeah. And we start going, you look familiar. He's like, yeah, you look familiar. And we ended up talking. He had a toboggan on, I had my toboggan on, I had sunglasses on, and all this stuff. And finally realized it's the guy that I traded a bunch of stuff a few weeks ago at a flea market where I got this, and a bunch of signed books and a bunch of Wizard specials and all this stuff. Well, we started talking, and you remembered I had some toys, so I came home, got some old toys that I can't move on eBay and stuff. I just won out of the toy thing, I mean, I kept a few good pieces, don't get me wrong, I'm not insane, and went back and traded for a shitload of books, so I'm going to get to it. So basically, all this stuff was for, was for some toys. I didn't pay for any of this, made some room upstairs in the old comic book room and ended up getting some good stuff. So it's just a mix of all kinds of things. Let me show you a few things I did pick up though. And I think I messed this one up. Yeah, I think I did. Anyway, this is a square bound 3 novels of Tarzan. I think it's the first 3. Tarzan of the Apes, The Son of Tarzan, Tarzan at the Earth's Core by Edgar Rice Burroughs. It's got some really cool little illustrations in there. Because you guys know about me and monkeys. And I'll talk about monkeys here in a minute. Alright, then I picked this up. It's Comic Buyer's Guide. It's not... well, never mind. Anyway, I went ahead and he threw this in. 2004 comic book checklist and price guide. And I like this one because it's just simpler and it's bolder. I can flip through it. I think this is the one where I'll be able to highlight things and mark down what I need instead of doing the old notebook. And I've got a comic book on. If you go to comicbookdb.com, stands for comic book database, you can look up members and see Howlermouse 2, and my collection is updated on the site to where I've got about 80% of my books. I'm getting close to having 10,000 of them on there, and you can see my, what's in my collection, and I'm still always adding stuff. And I try to pull it up when I'm out on this little bitty Android phone, and it takes forever and all that stuff, so I'll probably start carrying this around. Okay. Some of the stuff that was in there that I grabbed, like I said, there's a lot, so I'm going to be moving kind of quick here because I still have T-Bird's contest for reaching 50 subs or something video to do. I've got the Wave 2, the Amalgam comics to do, and still got the World's Greatest Haul. I'm about done with that, and I don't want to flood everybody's wall on the YouTube thing, but I wanted to get these documented because I'm actually going to read these tonight. Anyway, I got the Wizard half issue of Boba Fett. This came out in the late 90s. That's a Tim Bradstreet drawing. And the way Tim Bradstreet, the way I think he draws is I think he gets his friends over and he takes Polaroids of them and he traces it out, and then he adds in all the texture in his own little thing there. This guy was doing the Crow and White Wolf vampire, the White Wolf role-playing world of vampires and stuff back in the 90s. I was always getting excited when I started seeing him doing Punisher covers. Wizard Ace, The Incredible Hulk. This retails the first issue of the first appearance of the Incredible Hulk. Retails his origin. I think it's got like maybe 2 other stories in there. I'm not sure. It's been forever since I looked at it. I got the Wizard half issue of She by Bill Tucci. Going a little manga there. Didn't count her fingers. He's got a cover that it's famous because he put 6 fingers on one hand on her. And of course, these all come with certificates. Okay. Never heard of this. The Magdalene. I can't even read that. Angelius. Yeah, whatever this is. Wizard half issue. and the 10th, these Wizard half issues. The way you got these Wizard half issues is that you got Wizard, the magazine, back in the 90s and early 2000s, and they started having deals to where they'd have a coupon inside, 2-page ad, coupon. You take off the coupon and you would add these and get them mailed to you. And when they started out, they were really, really good because they came with these exclusive comic book bags and boards. The board is built right into the bag, and it came with extra sides, a little bit of extra there, so if you dropped them, it never made it. And then by the time they were done, man, it ended up just being the bag, no board, so. Okay, moving right along, ended up getting 2 issues of this, and this blows my mind that Garth Ennis was writing. I can't believe, it just blows my mind that this was 21 years ago, okay? Because I remember when Hellblazer was on the stands, but this is Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, in the midst of their, big run on Hellblazer. I just can't believe it was that long ago. I ended up picking up 2 copies by accident. The Preacher team before Preacher came along. This was an upgrade, Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 24. This is the 5th issue that Alan Moore had done back then. And this has the Justice League in it, of course, watching the Plant Man. And it was either this issue or the issue before, but there's a fantastic line that Superman says. They were in the satellite, and the Plant Man had taken control of all the plants and had them really mix, making more and more oxygen. And eventually that was going to be real flammable. The Earth could go up in flames. And Superman's, they were talking about, they're looking on the computer. And they're kind of they're talking about how many oxygen molecules they're supposed to be normally. And Superman goes, well, I can go down there and count how many there are now if you want. And I'm like, that's fucking Superman. All right, grab this. Hellboy, Darkness Calls. Have no idea if I have any of this series, number 5 of 6, but I grab my Hellboy when I can. I keep wanting to get them in the trade, and I keep finding them really cheap, like that. Usually it's one storyline, missing one issue, no matter what. So now anybody that knows me knows that I have a phobia of sock monkeys for real. It goes back to a kid. Maybe I need to do a video about it. All this stuff. So I got Tony Millionaire's Sock Monkey. This is number 1. He had several volumes. I don't know if this is the first one or what. But he had several volumes of this. And, yeah, Tony Millionaire, world of his own, man. I mean, you talk about an indie book. This is it. I've only read 1 or 2 other ones. And this is the number 1 of another volume. But, see, I'm telling you, man, nobody listens to me. Sock monkeys are evil. Get them out of your house. Look, he's got a gun. It's a monkey with a gun. Have we not seen Planet of the Apes? And then I need one more of this. This was a 2-issue series. Alan Davis was just nailing it there for a while at DC with these little projects he was doing. The writing of this guy amazes me. Back in the day, he and Alan Davis don't really get along now, but Alan Davis did The Nail, which was a 2-issue prestige format series. He did Another Nail 2, the sequel to that one, Another Nail, the sequel to The Nail. A little bit weaker, but it was still good, don't get me wrong. And then he came out with the Superboy's Legion, a retelling of sorts in an Elseworld setting. See the Elseworld's banner there? Of Superboy forming the Legion. There was 2 issues of this, so I just need one more. I think there was 2. And I'm really curious. Yeah, it ends on a cliffhanger. So I was always kind of curious about this. It just never popped up, and I've never run across it. And I used to get on eBay to look for it. For some reason, there for a while, it was money on eBay to get it. No idea what it is now. Got me a second one of these, and either the one I already have or this one's going to be my reader copy. This is Darkseid Galactus the Hunger. This was in the midst of DC and Marvel were kind of hurting for money in the 90s, so they really agreed to do a whole lot of crossovers. Batman, Punisher, Green Lantern, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Superman, just all kinds of stuff. And this is kind of a wraparound cover in a way. Really odd how it doesn't go all the way around. But basically, John Byrne was doing a comic book convention, and a fan asked him a question like, what would happen if Galactus tried to eat Apocalypse? And this whole little one-shot came out of that. So it mixes Jack Kirby's Fourth World with Jack Kirby's Galactus and Silver Surfer. And he wrote this in a way that this could be in continuity for DC and Marvel. This, I think the way they're playing it, if I remember right, it's been a long time since I've read it, but This takes place before Orion came to Earth in New Gods #1, and before Silver Surfer found Earth in the Fantastic Four. So this actually shows why Galactus was so freaking hungry when he got to Earth for the first time. So he wrote it in continuity, which is very cool. It also kind of explains why, you have some flesh color down here with Galactus in the flesh armor. The way I always understood it, but I never really read it anywhere, is the hungrier Galactus is, the more he kind of feeds on his armor as like a reserve energy, So that's why he even has armor for what he is. I got this. I don't know what printing this is, but this is better shape than the one I have. This is Gone Swimming. This is I don't know what's the term I'm looking for. I'm so sorry. I'm shooting off the hip here, but this is a Japanese manga. There's no words in it about this 2-foot dinosaur back in the past and stuff, and his adventures in nature and stuff. He doesn't have a shell. He's took the shell from a turtle, and he's probably beat the shit out of the turtle and ate him and just took it and stuff. Beautiful artwork in these. Beautiful. I will definitely do a video one day of just those books, okay? Then I'm really glad to get this. This is Dawn. This is from the 90s. This is a trade of, I think, a 6-issue series that Joseph Michael Linsner did. This is Lucifer's Halo, and I think there's a little bit some extras in there and stuff. But P. Craig Russell did the introduction to this, and he kind of said that he calls Joseph Linsner brilliant for a man who's in his own unique space, isolated from the out. It's on the back, Linsner seems to inhabit his own unique space, isolated from the ebb and flow of mainstream comics. This is the work of an artist in love with his story and its characters. So whenever Linsner ended up doing a cover, very random cover for like DC or Marvel or something, it was always with a redhead. Okay, he did a War of the Worlds Killraven cover because he was a redhead, and then he did like this Justice League Quarterly cover that had Maxima on it, who's a redhead for you who doesn't know it. And anytime he draws a female with red hair, it kind of gets hot because people are thinking it's Dawn. Now I've had a few issues here and there of a series here and a series there. I've had him sign some covers that he did like for Wizard and stuff. This will be the first time that I get to read a full Dawn series and see what the hubbub is about and stuff. I have a general knowledge of it, but not a good one. Another trade I got was The Hero Discovered Mage by Matt Wagner, book 2. It's really hard to tell what mage I'm looking at. Mage is about all of the great historical heroes that we have, like King Arthur, Robin Hood, that kind of thing. I can't remember who all is in here. And they're resurrected, they're reincarnated in modern day, along with like any kind of mystical weapons that's part of their legend. Mage is basically the main character. Is basically King Arthur reincarnated, and he has a baseball bat that is Excalibur. Kind of modern day things. Again, I've read an issue here or there, got a general knowledge of it, not a deep one. And the thing about it is that they have been reprinted over and over with different companies and recolored and black and white and all this stuff. You just never know where you're in with it. It's one of the reasons I never followed it. It was just everywhere. Basically, I think it's one of those books where Matt Wagner may have, don't take my word on it, he may have written himself into the book as the main character, because he wears a black t-shirt with, this lightning bolt symbol, and that was really around in the 80s, underground book. This is Thrill Killer. Dave Barrington, Howard Chaykin did this. I'm not saying go out and get it, but I love it, and I was really, I went ahead and he threw this in after we talked about it for a little bit. He was claiming that he saw this Thrill Killer one-shot on Amazon for $58, and I was trying to tell him, no, this is a trade. And I knew that Thrill Killer had a sequel, and it turns out that was the one-shot, and it's called Thrill Killer 62, so I need that one. This is a trade of the first 3-issue miniseries that came out of this. And basically Howard Chaykin has put the Bat mythos in the era of 1960s, 61 with a pulp beatnik feel to it, which is cookie cutter made for me and stuff like that. You might see my videos. Howlermouse usually sports the goatee, and there's Robin. I could have dressed up like Robin in the 90s back in the day with that, my college played or read it back then. More trades I got. I finally get to sit down and see what all the hubbub again is about. Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. This is a freaking Eisner Award-winning series, and he's had a couple volumes and stuff that Terry Moore exists and stuff. And people love it. It's always praised, but I don't know anybody that reads it. I don't know if it's ever been talked about. And it kind of gives me an idea. It's about two girls in a slice of life deal. I think they're best friends, and one is a lesbian. That's all I can tell you. We got one or two issues here and there, and I kind of read, and it didn't really get in depth with who these girls are. But it's like black and white stuff. This is a beloved book. I do know that. I'm going blank on what their names are because I'm doing a video, but I'm not going to sweat it because we still got a few more things to get through. Got another one. Katchoo. That's her name. K-A-T-C-H-O-O. I need to slow down. I'm going to try and get this. These trades came out in the 90s, and I've recognized this cover forever. I've seen this drawing here and there whenever Strangers in Paradise was there, and like I said, it's critically acclaimed. It's got all these people and fan sites and Overstreet and Comic Shop News. Diana Schultz, Dave Sim, an afterword. Dave Sim's a fan of it. He did an afterword. Dave Sim pulls for independent books to begin with, so But yeah, they wrote a little piece in this and stuff. But yeah, and I'm really hoping when I read this, it's not, like it came out in the 90s, so that's where it's relevant. If you follow what I'm saying, I hope it's not dated. And then I went ahead and grabbed this because it was there, and this is where it says Eisner Award-winning theater. It went to Homage Studios, which was run by Wildstorm. I can't remember if this came out when Wildstorm was still a part of Image or after DC had bought them up. So we get to see a little bit. And like again, I've seen this cover many times, just a slice of life. Alright, then we get some more good stuff here. Did I show these off? I got two more stacks, I'm sorry. Okay. Real quick, nothing spectacular. I got this because this cover and the title cracked me up. The West Coast Avengers, A Tale of Two Kitties. Yeah, I'm not going to go for the smut humor there. I got this, number 49, back when Hal Jordan lost his freaking mind. This is now kind of an iconic cover. I've seen it redone once or twice and stuff. Ended the Lantern Corps, went nuts, and, they were, got a great story about why, grabbed an Amazing Spider-Man that was in there with Carnage on the cover, number 380. Deathlock, Venom, Iron Fist, Captain America, why not? We have the Spider-Man number 4. I think that's a John Byrne cover. I'm not sure, and it's kind of retro. It's got the smaller white eyes, much like it did back in the 60s. And and it's got the webbing under the armpits. And that's the Spider-Man outfit I like. That's how it started out, and I wish they'd kept that and stuff. So I don't know. Now I got this. Yes, I love Space Ace. Yes, I love Don Bluth. There's another reason I got this. When I saw it, my eyes perked up, right? Because this came out in like 2003. Yeah, 2003. It's a first printing. Yeah, it's number 3 of the series. They also came out with Dragon's Lair. But guess who wrote it? Mr. Robert Kirkman. Yeah, Robert Kirkman. About 2-3 years before Walking Dead came out, and he hit big. Down in the trenches, writing some Don Bluth. Oh, look at this. And the ad on the back is so cool. Some Dragon's Lair DVD video, PS2 and Xbox. So yeah. Then I was really glad to get this, man, because I never really run across this. It's one of the few Superman stories I really wanted to finish because I picked it up on a whim. And this is back when Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness and everybody was doing this. This is from 2000, okay? But it's Emperor Joker. And I don't want to ruin the story, but the big mystery was, why was the world all crazy and stuff? The story that I got them here, I got a few of them here. I think the rest upstairs. But it was a story that started out. Superman was in an asylum. He escaped. Bizarro came and got him, threw him back in. There was a Bizarro Batman running around. You know, the world was turned upside down, and who was doing it? You know, everybody. I was kind of, you know, I thought it was being predictable. That's why I didn't finish it at the time. And I thought it was like, oh, this is Mr. Mxyzptlk, you know, magic and stuff. And it turns out, I think the way the story went, Mr. Mxyzptlk gave Joker the same powers he had, and he's the one that twisted reality around. And holy crap, man, all of a sudden those flew off the shelves, and for a while they were worth money, you know. And there's a storyline. I got the Steel and the Superboy one back up, and I think this is my double of it. This is where it all started. And just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, because that's a real vague, you know, maybe spoiled it, but, you know, it's, you know, a 14-year-old story. But, yeah, here's Superman in the asylum busting out. It's a mad, mad, mad world. They used all the Mad Magazine logos there from over the years. That's also a great movie from the 60s. He busts out. He's wearing black. You know, he's the bad guy. Great Ed McGuinness art. Jeff Loeb's writing this. Then all of a sudden, you know, he's going nuts, and you see the wanted posters for him. And he's like, this is nuts. What's going on? This is crazy. And I'm sitting here like, am I reading the tick? And there it is. Turns out Bizarro is the good guy. So it went on from there. And I was just so glad to get that. That Emperor Joker book was really hard to get for a while. So glad. Oh, and there's stuff I didn't realize I picked up here. Let me see. I might be going the wrong way. And I am. Alright. Some books that are doubles for me, and I still need 2 issues to complete this miniseries. Batman A Long Halloween #3. That was part of the trade. Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale again. Great. Story that took place 1 year. Who was the calendar? Was it the calendar killer? I don't know. Holiday killer. One blank on a classic Batman story. Batman A Long Halloween, Valentine's Day, and then we had St. Patrick's Day with Poison Ivy. I need 2 freaking issues of this. 1 or 2 issues to finish it, and I need to get on the ball and get those. And we're down to the last stack. Appreciate you hanging in here. Alright, found this. I didn't even know this ever came out. I didn't know they did annuals for magazines, but the Savage Sword of Conan, annual #1. $1.25 for this back then. 2 full-length stories of the fiercest barbarian of all times. And it has King Cole and Thulsa Doom in it. Now, Thulsa Doom, yeah, I'm a Thulsa Doom fan. Really glad to see that. Pass these right up. I got these because they were there and they were part of the trade, and it kind of cracks me up. Lobo #1, and this is in the midst of the 90s where everybody was doing gimmick covers. So he's like, you know, I got your cover enhancement right here, and that's a glossy zipper, you know, at his crotch. Yeah, #2, #3, Lobo, the real Lobo. The Lobo that I now appreciate after what they've done here lately. Back to the magazines, and you never saw this. Marvel Preview presents Merlin, and it's by John Buscema and Doug Munch. Never seen this, and I love that cover. I mean, you know, The Adventures of Merlin. When did this come out? 1980. I mean, I should have been right there, you know. And it's got that gray tone, Savage Conan, you know, magazine look that was pretty, you know, back there. So it's about knights and stuff. I'm happy to find these, even though I explained to the guy the difference between the cartoon books and the image books that came out. Never saw this before, but this is Jeff Smith's Stupid Rat Tales. I guess it's Tale of the Rat Creatures from Bone. Never knew this came out, and I knew about it's Jeff Smith, and it's got another name here, so I guess he's not doing the art. But yeah, no idea. I didn't know this. I never knew this came out. I knew they had a Rose with Your Bone. I knew they had a Rose miniseries and some other stuff. But then it's like I got all excited, and after the trade, I didn't realize that these are the image books. And what was going on is that they started publishing Bone through Image, and Bone was always, you know, supposed to be bi-monthly there for a while. Bone was real sporadic. It took over 10 years to get 55 issues out, I think, or something. So anyway, so here we have, you know, some Image books. Now what they did is that they started with print through Image in the 20s, I think. So you would have a new Bone book come out, and then the next month you'd have a reprint come out with the Bone logo on there. So I don't know which ones are new and which ones are the reprints and stuff. Have to do a little research. But, you know, it's alright because, like, you still get some new covers and some new bone art by Jeff Smith. But to me, I think it's, I'm not saying he called it in, but I think with his style and his speed, some of these are pretty simple from what he usually does. You know, that's a cartoon book one. That's an original. But that's in the Rockjaw story. Here's number 22 and number 23. So, yeah, no idea which one's the reprint and which one's the real one. Found this coloring book, G.I. Joe Coloring and Activities book from 1982. Just had to get that. Actually, just a few pages in here have been colored on, besides the cover being eaten up a little bit. But basically, you know, I have an original G.I. Joe coloring book now. Okay. Last stack. Ghost from 1976, where we were doing our bicentennial. Weird War Tales with some Creature Commandos. Love those guys. I love the Universal Monsters concept, and you know, this is during World War II, and each one has an origin where they were kind of, you know, they're not the actual Universal monsters. It's just stuff that happened to them through the war made them that way. Some Bronze Age horror, ghosts, you know, during the Superman movie coming out. Another Weird War. I mean, look at this, man. Okay, Nazi skeleton riding a freaking dragon beast of, you know, it's their secret weapon. Joe Kubert cover. Okay, yes, I'm gonna get that. The Human Fly, number 1, based on a stuntman in the 70s, and the deal fell through like he was going to be a real-life superhero. Alright, some Boris Karloff, Tales of Mystery from Whitman. Yes. Alright, 80-page giant that the cover's, you know, it's beat up and the cover's coming off, but it tells some, it's reprints of some Giant Age tales. It's considered Superman number 183. You know, just love this stuff. And it's got a story in here. Got the first appearance of Mixiez Pitalik from back in the day. There's 2 letters switched around, so there is a different pronunciation. It's his first appearance, but it's also got one where Superman and Lois go to the theater in the 40s and they watch the Fleischer cartoons. You know, and they even tell you, like, we did a tongue-in-cheek story here where Superman and Lois go watch those new cartoons you can see at the theater. So it was like a commercial to get you to go to the theater to watch them and stuff, you know. Heard about it, never read it, and I flipped through here, and it's really cool, man, because, like, this is the 40s, the golden age, and they did something really clever when you consider back then they were making the rules the same time that comics were evolving and stuff. So when they tell the tale, they sit there and they try to make it look like the film, so you'll know what's the movie and what's not with the borders and stuff. I thought it was kind of genius. Found this. This is reprints, but these Marvel Tales are worth some money. This one's a little beat up, but the cover is intact. 72 big pages for a quarter back then, and you get the origin of the Avengers, the origin of the X-Men. You get the Hulk versus the Ringmaster, and you get the origin of Doctor Strange. Ooh. Alright. DC issue special number 1. These were one-shots. It was a series. I think there's 12 of them, but it was the first appearance of a character or a, you know, first attempt at, like, if it was a first issue of a hero, and if they took off, they were, you know, probably looking to make a new series. But I think those came out around the DC implosion and stuff. I got Doomsday number 1, number 3, and I got all excited because I think they only made like 6, 7, 8 of these, and then they kept the series going, and they just reprinted them at Charlton. And it was, you know, one of John Byrne's very, very first monthly books. And then I saw it was a reprint through Modern Comics when I got it home. Still cool. Still like the cover. You know, post-apocalyptic stuff, you know. Doom Patrol. Beat up early issue of Doom Patrol. I don't care. Number 91. I love the covers. I'll freaking frame it, you know. I love these Hanna-Barbera books. You know, I'm always looking for these and always grabbing them with my little monsters and, you know, from Gold Key and all that stuff. But, yeah, this is Hanna-Barbera number 6 with the Flintstones. Back when Saturday morning cartoons still dominated. Could not believe I found this. Another Herbie. This, I want to do a video where I just kind of pull out some books and tell you a little bit about them, like we're talking comics, you know, like I do with people around here when I run into them. But, like, and I'll repeat myself in that video, but Herbie is one of Alan Moore's favorite characters, and when he did Watchmen, the way that the way Rorschach talks, well, he got it from Herbie, the Fat Fury here. Okay, they spit their what is the word? Man, I'm educated. What the hell's wrong with me right now? Anyway, the vernacular and their tone and their rhythm is the exact same. Okay, had to get this. Wished I'd picked these up. Defenders of the Earth. Came out in the 80s through Star Comics #1. I had this and I let it get beat up. I had this first 2 or 3 issues. They had a crappy cartoon, and I'm saying it, from King's Features and stuff that tried to make them all like a superhero team. Gave them sidekicks and brought in some kids and all this stuff. But you know, it's Mandrake the Magician, the Phantom, and Flash Gordon, and they're all fighting Ming, and I'll be there all day. So you know, I'm much more forgiving. Some beat up Gold Cube Ripley's Believe It or Not. I always love these Gold Key covers. You know, it's kind of really, I love Believe It or Not back in the day. But it's, you know, it's just ghost stories. Really glad to get this one. I know it's a series of reprints, but this is Ghostly Tales. I want to say that's a burned cover, but I'm not going to put any money on it. It's got some Ditko in here. But I'm sure this came out in the early 80s. You got to be real careful, because when you get in the higher numbers, all they did was recycle. Yeah, this is from 1982, and comics that they reprinted in here from 71 and 72. But you know, and that is Mr. I Am Dead as your host. I think that's what his name was. See, I'm a sucker for any horror that, you know, gives you a host. And the last one, I got me a Twilight Zone from Gold Key. What a way to go out! All right, guys, that went really long. I may bust this up into half, you know, two parts, but I don't know. So thanks for hanging in there with me, and I will catch you guys later.